Welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show here at 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. We're taking a tour around local baseball today as we touch base with Nebraska. Kyle Perry, Nebraska baseball pitcher, joins us now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. KP, good to talk to you again. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm doing wonderful. Really excited to get going. Yeah, just enjoying this last go around with the boys.
Hey, how does it feel to be going into your 15th season of college baseball?
You know, it's great, man. Gordon was a great teammate, when I was a freshman. Yeah. No, man. I'm really excited, dude. It's flown by. Seems like I was just getting ready for my first trip spring of 2019 to go to Riverside, and here I am for my sixth go around. It's pretty surreal, honestly.
So I was thinking about some of the guys that were your teammates on like the 19 team that season.
Yeah.
Like so Matt Waldron, for instance, was played that entire season and then got drafted and then built his way up through the minor leagues and then had to recreate himself entirely and become a knuckleballer and then make the major leagues. And all this time you were still at Nebraska.
Right. I mean, Matty was incredible. I mean, I've never seen anybody with so much feel, with a baseball in his hands. He could do whatever he wanted, put it wherever he wanted. It was really a treat to watch every Friday as a freshman. And now looking back at and seeing where he's at and looking back and seeing what he did here, I mean, it's really special. And I mean, him and Fisher, there was a couple of big leaguers on that team, and
yep.
I mean, it's just so fun to watch those guys and get to learn from them and hopefully chip my way kind of the way they did.
So what do you like? What do you know now? How is your approach to baseball life, whatever it might be, changed with all that you've been through from an injury perspective, from a baseball perspective, and what you've seen in Nebraska, obviously too? But like, how is your approach changed on all of that over your time in Lincoln?
I mean, it's I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, it's changed so much, and it's like you said, it's all about perspective. I mean, it's like, as a freshman, you really don't have that appreciation for what's going on around you. You're just, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, happy to be there, right? And I mean, it's now looking back, I get to, look at the teammates I had, look at what they did, from not just only on the field, but, as a leadership standpoint, who they were in the clubhouse and taking little bits of things that the leaders that I got to look up to did, and helping the young guys out, because like I said, knowing what it's like to be that young guy and now being a guy that's seen plenty of baseball here, it's just taken on a whole new role, and it felt like pretty much every year I've been here, I've been taking on multiple roles, new roles, and it's kept me on my toes, and it's made the time go by really quick. But I mean, it's really just been perspective change after perspective change, and I mean, I'm very grateful for that. Obviously, it hasn't been easy, but it's been neat, and getting to have an impact on many teammates through the years. It's been great,
including Alex Gordon. Really. I guess, yeah.
You're right, yeah.
But your willingness to accept all these different roles, and it's been a roller coaster at times. But like, I guess, where does that is that just straight up? I love baseball. I love Nebraska. Like, you just have seemed really being willing and able to roll with the punches, whatever gets thrown your way.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's been, I mean, it surely hasn't been easy. But I guess that's just kind of who I am, I guess. I mean, just resilient, really bullheaded. I don't want to, when I was hurt, obviously I knew I had to go get operated on, but it was like, there's no way I'm done, and so it was just kind of like, I don't know if ignorant would be the right word, but I mean, there's just been such an unfulfilling feeling that's just been, sitting in me all through college. And it's like, I want to keep tasting it and get more hardware out of this whole journey. And the experience is something you can't ever get back. And I know, there's probably kids my age that, that are, working 9 to 5 that are, like, dude, give up on it. It's time to hit the LinkedIn or whatever. And but I mean, I'm sure there's guys your age and guys plenty of older guys that could look back and, if they had a year left to go, that they would have, taken in a heartbeat. So
keep playing.
And that's just one of those things where I had to think about, like, is this really what I want to do? And I mean, I look back at like I said, the different roles I've brought on, and I mean, it's just kind of another thing in my resume, whether you like it or not, that, that not many people get to do. And it's not easy to take on those different roles for sure.
Is that ultimately what led you to come back this time around? Because each situation has been a little bit different with all the bumps in the road, but like for this one specifically, coming back for your 6th year, what was the thought process behind that?
I mean, the thought process was a lot, man. It was a lot of it was just a lot of, just thinking in circles pretty much. It was like, okay, do I want to transfer? No, I don't. And it's like I could have gone that route, but it's like I don't know what the coaches throughout the country would have said if they looked at my numbers and my track record with injuries and whatnot. Like, I mean, if I'm thinking about it, knowing me, I mean, I would have expected everyone in the country to be recruiting me, but it's like you look at it on paper and it's probably not the prettiest sight. So I figured, why not? Why move somewhere out of a place that I've already proved myself? I have so much skin in the game here, and I've put pretty much everything in my being, into this program the last 5 years, and so it made no sense to leave, and that was a big thing for me. But and obviously I wanted to find this, I wanted to leave this place better than I found it, and that's saying a lot. Like you said, you had the Matty Waldrons and Nate Fishers and those guys, and so much talent I've got to see come through here and play with. But it's just leaving this place, better than I found it, and that was really a big thing for me. And talking to Coach Childress over the summer, and really having some deep talks with him, and seeing where I wanted to go, and what I wanted out of this whole experience, and that was really the big thing for me.
How do you feel right now? I assume you're ready to go for this weekend.
Yeah, man, I'm really ready to go. Ready to take on whatever's thrown at us, and I mean, it's like I said, it's a little surreal. We're hopping right into it, and it's just like Christmas gets over with and the season's here, so it doesn't slow down one bit. But yeah, I'm geared up and ready to go. So
tell me a little bit about this team, and I guess we've had the coaches on from the other programs, but I wanted to talk to you specifically, mostly because I wanted to talk about your story, but also because we can ask you like coach questions as well.
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about this group and what you've seen so far, and maybe what makes it a little bit different from the past one or two.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so much turnover on this roster, and it reminds me of the 2022 team that ended up not having a great season, and I unfortunately made it about 4 weeks into that one, and just with how much turnover there is. But the thing with this team is that there's not as much turnover, on the freshman side of things. We're not bringing in 15 freshmen or whatever it was, that year. Our coaches hammered the JUCO, the transfer portal, and getting guys that have experience, and that's really getting to show. And it's the iron sharpens iron, and there's been so many guys that from day one they knew that if they wanted playing time, they're going to have to scratch and claw for it, and really get to compete against the other guys, and that's really brought us together as a team, and I'm excited to see how it shows up, once we get the season kicked off. But I mean, just getting to see the guys compete each day and really throw down with each other, it's brought us closer, and it's made the guys a lot better than they were when they first showed up, for sure.
Give me a couple guys down in the bullpen with you guys that you've like either taken under your wing or you've seen from early workouts here, and you've gotten to get outside a little bit, which is nice as well. That you're like, man, there might be something here. Who are some guys who would fall into that category?
I mean, man, we and like I said, we didn't bring nearly as many freshmen as we did a couple years back,
Yeah.
But I mean, the freshmen we did bring in, man, they're electric arms, man. We got Tanner Horn, Tucker Timmerman. Those guys are they have electric stuff, and they're exciting to watch. Carson Yaza, he's like a 6'7" big guy out of Colorado. He's got electric stuff and electric frame. Ryan Harahill, Elkhorn North kid. He's fun to watch. He's very mature beyond his years. I mean, it's crazy seeing the guys that they bring in as freshmen. And I think about myself, I rolled in here at 6 foot, 155, in prime basketball shape, more like cross country. But, but now I see, and I can't believe what they're feeding these kids. It's pretty ridiculous. But I mean, they're electric. And you got Casey Dice. He's a guy out of Pasco Hernandez Junior College in Florida, and he's my age with like 3 more years of eligibility. So he might be dealing with some older guys here in the future. But I mean, he's a guy, low 3/4 slot guy, funky right arm, and he throws a 2-seamer with 26 inches of run. It's just stupid. So I mean, I'm excited to see what we throw out, of the pen this year, and I think we should have a lot of depth, and obviously we're going to rely on our starters, whoever that may be on that given day, man. And I know nothing's really set in stone right now, which could be concerning, and I understand that, but I'm really confident in whoever we throw out right now, and I'm excited to see what our staff does.
What's the message from Coach Childress, and since he's come along, like what is the theme of the group and the thing that he's trying to get across every day? Like, what's the Rob Childress effect?
I mean, man, I can't even begin to tell you the impact he's had on just our entire program, man. This is his 3rd year here, and I mean, you can tell he's special, and his resume speaks for itself, and he just has a terrific way of communicating with players and faculty. I mean, you name it, support staff, people. He's a pro's pro, and he uses that. But I mean, truly, that's who he is. But I mean, he really is buckled down with the staff on, limiting the free passes and the walks, the hit by pitch. It's okay to walk a couple guys, but you got to back it up with punchies, and some strikeouts to help yourself out and help the team. And I mean, it's keeping everything simple. He has the KISS, the KISS theory, the keep it simple, stupid theory that he's kind of pounded in, and that was his mantra at the very start. So, I mean, it's really mastering vanilla, attacking the middle, trust your life, and throw strikes, trust your defense behind you. And I mean, that's as simple as you need it, really.
It really is.
And I mean, much easier said than done. Take it from me, but no, he's had a great impact on our staff.
Hey, he's got an old school brain about it. I think you feel the same way. I often find myself like I get made fun of for being like, I'm 31, but I sometimes sound like I'm 58 or something like that.
Sure.
But like my thing is like it and like you said, it's harder than it looks, but we've somewhere along the line lost the art of like, hey, let's just throw strikes and we'll see what happens.
Right.
Like, so I appreciate that. That's the message from Coach Childress.
No doubt. I mean, it's especially with nowadays, you're getting these analytics and all these random numbers and stuff I've never even heard about getting shoved down your throat. And don't get me wrong, man, it's fun to look at the iPad, during live outings and inter squads and looking at
it's pretty good spin rate
metrics.
And
really, yeah. I mean, and there's horizontal run, vertical, run and drop and whatever the heck, sort of analytics that are on there. And I mean, it's really interesting and intriguing. It's really cool to look at. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's filling up the zone, man, and trusting your defense, and that's the name of the game. And yeah, I mean, that's something that we really don't want to stray away from. And at times the game seems to be straying away at that, those little things that remain constant. But for sure, man, I mean, it's mastering vanilla, and that's what he said, at the very start, and that's what we're working towards each day.
Easier said than done too, because your guys have a challenge this weekend. You're going to play in a big league park, and there could be some emotions there as well. What's the excitement level for the weekend?
Sure. I mean, we played there in 2022, and I mean, gorgeous park, just unreal. I mean, it's really cool, and I'm glad we get a chance to practice there tomorrow evening, and the guys that haven't been there get to look around, soak it in a little bit, and get comfortable with it. But I mean, as a pitcher, a lot of things factor into how you're feeling, but depth perception is big, and they got their backstop's pretty close to home plate, and that's a advantage pitcher for sure there. So I think our guys will like to pitch there. It's a pretty neat park.
KP, thanks for doing this, man. Good luck this year. Have a safe trip down this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Go Big Red.
Kyle Perry, Nebraska baseball, 15th year player. Played with Alex Gordon, Shane Comine. Joe Simakaitis was his shortstop. That
Just
whole
an
thing.
amazing run.
KP's the best, man. That's a guy that loves Nebraska baseball.
You can
like
hear
he
it in his
loves
voice.
Nebraska baseball. And that's why I told him, I was like, hey, I wanted to have you on because your story is incredible, because he's had all these different surgeries and come back and then different roles. And he was supposed to be, when he got here, he was like Friday night starter potential type of guy. And, coming off and giving those innings of relief in Arkansas, or starting that game in Arkansas at the super regional or at the regional a couple of years ago. I mean, it's been a crazy career for him. And he could also kind of approach it from the coach standpoint too. So I was like, I'm going to ask him all the same questions I would to Will. Tell me about your team. He's got as good of a perspective on it as anybody else.
Oh yeah, he was rattling off those bullpen guys, and it sounded exactly like a coach would describe them. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, good velocity, real Friday night potential.
But we also, and this comes from our multiple conversations together now over the years, we also see baseball the same way. I think we get like me and him. We're kind of like emotional about it, but it's simple. Nothing pisses me off more than a guy not throwing strikes. Throw the ball down. It's fine. He's supposed to hit it. So
trust your defense to a certain extent.
I love that. And I love that Rob Childress, is trying to drive that home as well. Got a tweet here from Jacob Padilla.
Hi, Jacob.
Of various podcasts and Heard at Sports.
And this show tomorrow.
My favorite part of the Kyle Perry interview was him calling Connor old.
That was delightful.
Guys back in your day, Hap.
Those old timers, they always come to the park and tell us about what it was like in their day.
But I feel comfortable in like ribbing him on that stuff, because like he takes it in stride. He has a great
definitely
sense of humor about it.